Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this podcast of Narcissist and Empath. The reason we are exploring this dynamic is simple. Once you understand the dynamic that plays out between Rahu and Ketu, which are very powerful virtual planets, it's easier for you to decode your tendencies as well as how you function in the world. Intrinsically speaking, there is nothing wrong with either the narcissist attitude or the empath attitude. Empath Karaka being Ketu and narcissist being Rahu. But you need to understand this first. If there is no understanding, there is no wisdom, there is no knowledge, there is no light, right? It's just that simple. So now we have moved into Magha Nakshatra, which falls in Leo. So we are in the Leo Aquarius dynamic, opposite signs to each other, and so it plays out in that color. All zodiac signs, as you know, will color a certain kind of propensity. So we are essentially speaking first of Rahu in Magha Nakshatra and Ketu in Dhanishta Nakshatra on the opposite side. Narcissist number one. In this case, in Leo ascendant, we start with Magha, then we'll go to Purva Falguni and Uttar Falguni, okay? Because we have to examine the nakshatras also and see what exactly it is amplifying or reducing. Amplifying in the case of Rahu and reduction in the case of Ketu. So, Sun in relation to Rahu in the first house. Now, you understand surely that as we are already in Sun, therefore it is about fame, therefore it is about ego, therefore it is about self, therefore it is about power, right? So Rahu sitting in Magha in the first house will amplify all of those characteristics. Ego and self-importance. Sun represents ego when in conjunction or aspect to Rahu in the first house. It can amplify narcissistic tendencies. Think Donald Trump for a second. Individual may have exaggerated sense of self-importance. Everything is because of me, right? DJT again. Desire for attention. There is a strong desire for attention seeking and recognition. This individual may go to great lengths to be in spotlight or receive praise and admiration, even for things they haven't done anything really about. For example, charismatic narcissism. They'll be very focused upon their physical appearance, first house being physical appearance, seeing the mirror every 3 minutes, kind of. Charismatic. Sun's influence can make narcissism appear charismatic and confident. The key word here being charismatic, appear charismatic. Rahu wants to show off things which are not there. Okay, think of it this way. Rahu in the first house, people will always keep looking in the mirror, admiring themselves, which can draw others and create a magnetic personality. Resistance to criticism. These people are the last kind of people who would want any criticism from you. This individual may be highly resistant to criticism as their ego is closely related to the self-worth. They may react defensively or aggressively to perceived slights. This is case for all three. Okay? Magha being the strongest. Purva Falguni, Uttar Falguni will also have this. Actually, it will be the strongest if Rahu is in the first pada of Uttar Falguni, which is Leo to Leo, highest. Okay? The remaining 3 padas go into the 6th, Virgo. It is not Uttar Bhadrapada, it is Uttar Falguni. Okay, never mind. So now let us examine the nakshatra itself. What does Magha Nakshatra stand for? Let's see. What does Magha Nakshatra represent? Right? So let's leave these two guys. Let's see Magha Nakshatra. So Rahu desires recognition, authority, prestige. These individuals often seek positions of power and prominence, like DJT, like President of the United States. No greater ego than that, isn't it? Pride and ambition. They may possess strong sense of pride and ambition. Rahu's influence can lead to an eccentricity here. Rahu is eccentric. It doesn't want to do things the straight path, Rahu. Respect for tradition. Why? Because Rahu is also looking at the ninth house and it's also looking at children. A lot of importance to children, a lot of importance to traditional knowledge. I want to stick to traditional values. Rahu in the first house gives that in general. Leadership qualities. They often exhibit leadership qualities, which is by default Leo, right? Ruled by the sun. Now Rahu is amplifying that aspect. Rahu in Magha can give individuals charismatic presence and the ability to influence others. They may have a commanding presence in social and professional circles. So as much as people may dislike DJT, they can't help giving him attention, can they? Now let's see the opposite way of looking at this, which is the Ketu here, the first empath. So if you reverse this axis, now Ketu has come to Magha and Rahu has come to Dhanishta in the opposite side. Ketu represents detachment, correct? So how can Sun, who seeks fame, and this is where you got to understand Vedic astrology carefully, okay? How can Sun, which requires fame, how can Leo ascendant, which requires fame and recognition and authority like we saw, suddenly have detachment? How can they be empaths, you might ask? Well, let's consider this. Empathy focused on identity. If Ketu is sitting with Magha in the first house, this person may want to closely understand the empathetic qualities of others because Rahu is sitting in the other side. Their empathy may be closely tied to deep understanding of personal identity and willingness to empathize with others who struggle with issues of identity. Sort of the identity coaches of this world, you might say. They can become good coaches of identity. Because Rahu is sitting in Dhanishta on the opposite side, which is also Aquarius, so unconventional. These people can make good life coaches actually. Empathy as the path to self-realization. Individuals in this placement may view empathy as a means of self-realization, understanding themselves better by empathizing with others' struggles and journeys. Remember, Magha Nakshatra is ruled by Ketu, right? And Dhanishta Nakshatra falling in Aquarius is also co-ruled by Rahu. So this is a strong energy from the Nakshatra point of view. It assists in making very successful life coaches, if you ask me. Okay. So that's the empathy. Now, if you take Magha Nakshatra again, what does this give? Ketu in Magha signifies strong sense of spiritual detachment. These individuals may have a natural inclination to detach from material desires and seek higher spiritual truths. Isn't that beautiful? Respect for ancestry. Ketu is equal to ancestry. All of your ancestral soul energy, which is living in your body through your mind, emotions and soul, is Magha Nakshatra, because it's a Ketu Nakshatra. Associated with tradition and ancestry, Ketu here can enhance respect for ancestral heritage and family traditions, but not in a Rahu kind of way. They are not physically obsessed with it. They might have more respect and spiritual angle to it. That's the difference. They may be seekers of inner wisdom. They are often seekers of inner wisdom and self-realization. Ketu wants that. Ketu in Magha individuals may be drawn to spiritual practices and introspection. If these people, as I am putting it, may become good life coaches, where are they getting that knowledge from to guide this other? This Ketu must guide this Rahu in the other houses. It must get it from the soul level, from the ancestry. Quiet strength. Ketu in Magha often bestows quiet strength and a sense of self-assuredness. They may navigate life's challenges with inner resilience. Isn't that beautiful? Compared to the Rahu who was sitting there. Now let's do the Rahu Ketu reverse, but let's change the 7th axis because it now goes into Dhanishta. Let's see what it does in Dhanishta. I think we covered Dhanishta already. Empath number 1. Let's see empath number 1 what it does. Magha. Sorry, next one it goes to Shatbhisha. Now this is as unorthodox as it can get, especially the Ketu part, because Ketu rules Magha. Shatbhisha is ruled by Rahu, so this is the strongest axis of spiritual leadership in terms of helping people find their identity, their path. Let's get into it. So now Rahu in the Narcissist number 2 is still in Maghas. We have already covered that general characteristics. But Ketu has shifted to Shatbhisha. So let's see what the Shatbhisha narcissism would lead to. Or Ketu in Shatbhisha would lead to. Right? So Shatbhisha is a nakshatra which is in Aquarius, squarely inside Aquarius. They are very secretive creatures. They are introverted. They love being alone. So Ketu, as it is being Ketu, loves being alone, isolated. In Shatbhisha, it amplifies that as well. Ketu in Shatbhisha signifies strong sense of spiritual detachment. Strong, very strong. Why? Because it loves being alone anyway. So it is contributing to that nature. Might make them pessimistic in some ways. Healing the masses, they might be healing the masses in some way. Although Rahu is in the first house, if it is in Shatbhisha, it is in some way healing the masses. Unconventional perspective, Ketu in Shatbhisha, they tend to have unconventional, unique perspective on life. Why? It's in Aquarius. Ketu in Shatbhisha individuals often think outside the box, Aquarius as it can get, and may embrace non-traditional approaches to doing things. So while Ketu is in the 7th house, non-traditional with other people. 7th house sees other people, with spouses, other people. Independence and non-conformity. They value independence and non-conformity. These individuals may resist societal norms and prefer to chart their own course in life. Interest in mysticism, because Shatbhisha is also called as 100 physicians. If they really want to tune in, they can tap into that Varuna energy, the god of cosmic waters. It's a very etheric sign, Aquarius. So they can tap into the hidden realm of knowledge of occult and mysticism also. Right? This is what Ketu in the first narcissist type, where Ketu is in the 7th house, leads to. Well, what if it's the opposite? What if we are talking of opposite type of energy? Empath number 2. Because if it's for the empath, Rahu lands up here in his own house in Shatbhisha. Let's see. So what happens to our empath number 2? Now Ketu is in Magha, Rahu is in Shatbhisha. Magha Nakshatra is ruled by Ketu, Pitris, ancestors, very ancestral energy. So it is very comfortable doing this kind of empathy work. But this will be the most unconventional kind of life coaches, something like Teal Swan kind of life coaches, right? Because this Rahu is the most unconventional there. It is obsessed about the masses. 11th house is all for masses. Okay? Very unconventional kind of teaching, although it will be relevant. Okay, think of it that way. So let's see. Rahu in Shatbhisha signifies unconventional, innovative thinking. These individuals often have a unique perspective and ahead of their time and ideas and approaches. Like I said, all of these aspects it will amplify. And it will bring to the masses that optimism, that maverick, visionary, unconventional optimism of Shatbhisha, it will bring to the masses. That's what the interest is of this Rahu. This kind of empath will be very good life coaches. Humanitarian interests, they tend to have strong interest in humanitarian and social causes. Remember 11th house, Aquarius. Rahu in Aquarius will make them very, very prone to guiding the masses. Passionate advocates for well-being of others and broader community. 7th house. Desire for knowledge. They often have a deep desire for knowledge and may excel in fields that require research and investigation. They're constantly investigating what's going on in the masses, these empaths, because Ketu is in the first house. And so they will want to do things for others. Learners and seekers of truth. Independence and non-conformity. They have value for independence and non-conformity. They may resist societal norms and choose to follow their own path. Excellent life coach. You can't be in the programming of the modern culture in order to guide the masses. You need something out of the box. That out of the box is fished out by Rahu in Aquarius in the 1-7 axis. Interest in occult and mysticism. But because it is in 7th house, this kind will be more intuitive. Ketu on the other side should bring this from Magha Nakshatra. So these people need to tune into their ancestral energy. Probably would be good remedies to do for Ketu for this Nakshatra, and they'll make excellent life coaches. Okay. So keep this in mind. Tune into the energies of this. And if you are having such a chart, I'll have to do a consult for you, because you need to get on the right path. This civilization could do with your unconventional wisdom. Yeah. Take care, be safe, keep smiling, absorb the 2024 wonderful energies. Bye-bye.